This is the way.
Rise, Meg.
The Force will be with you.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another video. So in today's news we're going to be talking about a really big plot rumour for the future of The Mandalorian, and we're also going to be talking about why the future of Mando is very bright. So without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So it turns out that Luke Skywalker may not be in the possession of Grogu for too long, because Mando, Baby Yoda and Ahsoka will reportedly lead the Mandalorian universe from here on out. So if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, there was a rumour that was stating that Luke Skywalker would not hold on to Grogu for long because we're going to go down the sequel trilogy path, and therefore Ben Solo would be his first apprentice. In terms of the future of Grogu, he would be handed down to Ahsoka Tano. Now, as you guys know, in Chapter 13, Ahsoka didn't want to train Grogu because of his attachments, but I believe that Luke Skywalker could convince Ahsoka to take him, and this is in line with this new rumour. We also know that Grogu is going to feature in the Ahsoka Tano spin-off show, and as such there could be a lot of overlap. So the insider source is claiming that Mando, Grogu and Ahsoka will reportedly lead the Disney Plus expanding Mandalorian universe, which includes The Mandalorian Season 3, Star Wars Ahsoka, as well as the Book of Boba and potentially even Rangers if that project is still happening. But in terms of The Mandalorian Season 3, I think Ahsoka now is going to play a bigger role now that Gina Carano is gone. The source also makes it clear that Ahsoka is going to feature prominently in both The Mandalorian and her own spin-off. And this means that we might even get Grand Admiral Thrawn in both shows. And that would be absolutely epic. So let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below. And speaking of The Mandalorian and Star Wars in general, it seems as though there are a lot of people who claim that Star Wars is dead. A claim that we've heard numerous times in the past. It's a shame because The Mandalorian Season 2 really seemed to have finally united the fandom. And with the return of Luke Skywalker, it felt as though Star Wars was alive and roaring, with fans super excited for the upcoming shows, and there was a general feeling of positivity again. Something that we really haven't felt in the fandom since The Force Awakens was released all the way back in 2015. But with all of the drama that's been going on, it seems as though a lot of fans have really checked out. And you know what, I can't really blame them, especially in terms of trust for Lucasfilm. But to be honest with you all, I feel very optimistic about the future of Star Wars and specifically The Mandalorian. With all of the drama that's gone on lately, specifically to do with the firing of Gina Carano, it might seem as though we're in a slump as a fandom. But believe me when I say Star Wars will recover. It's done so countless times in the past and it will do so again. So in light of this message of positivity, which is what I want to convey to you guys, I'm going to give reasons why I believe The Mandalorian as a show will not only recover from the real world politics and controversies, but thrive in the long run. As beloved as Cara Dune was as a character, this is the opportunity to introduce new characters that will help with world building in Star Wars and also to amplify existing characters. Inverse have actually written a really good article about this and I want to share it with you guys here. So the first thing I want to point out is the fact that we know that Legends material might become canon in Season 3, in particular elements of the Thrawn trilogy. You see, going into Season 3, we're at this really sweet spot in terms of post-Return of the Jedi Star Wars timeline, where Luke Skywalker is at his peak. At least that's what the Legends material tells us. And as such, a really cool character they could bring in is Mara Jade. You simply can't speculate on the future of The Mandalorian without bringing up Mara Jade. She is simply the poster child of Star Wars Legends and goes hand in hand with Luke at this point in the timeline. Now that Skywalker is part of The Mandalorian story, it could be the perfect moment to bring in a possible love interest for him. I've spoken about this before, as I'm sure a lot of you know, but bringing her into the show could really prove to be a distraction and could go in a positive or negative direction. She might even be the reason why Grogu doesn't end up with Luke Skywalker come the time that he does train Ben Solo. Now, something else that could really bolster The Mandalorian is bringing back Cobb Vanth. We've only seen him in one episode of Season 2. It was Chapter 9 called The Marshal, and I haven't really seen him being spoken about much as of late. But he's a phenomenal character who I definitely want to see again. I think that he's a character who they set up to be a shows up occasionally type character, but the fact that he has that presence of a space cowboy could really add to the direction of The Mandalorian Season 3, although we're not too sure what that is at this point. In terms of filling the boots as one of Mando's most essential allies, I do think this is the opportunity for Migs Mayfeld, which is Bill Burr's character, to really step up to the plate. Both Cobb Vanth and Migs Mayfeld were two fan favourites from Season 2, and Migs gave the best speech of the season in Chapter 15, The Believer. A character who could be brought in which we haven't seen in live action is Evan Verlaine. Essentially, she's very similar to Cara Dune if Cara Dune was a rebel pilot. Verlaine was raised on Alderaan and mentored by Leia's adoptive mother, Queen Organa. I do hope we see Leia in and of herself in season 3 of Mando, and if we do, it would be the perfect opportunity to bring in Verlaine because she did work alongside Leia to rescue whatever survivors there were from Alderaan, and later assisted with the Battle of Yavin. She got the same traumatic fate as Cara Dune, but with a rebellion twist. Something else that could really save the show is to intertwine all of the spin-offs. So we know we're going to be getting the Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars Ahsoka. We're not too sure of the fate of Rangers of the New Republic, given the fact that Gina Carano was fired. But even from Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett, all of the storylines could in some way intertwine, as long as they're not overcomplicating it. As such, we could see characters like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, and Grand Admiral Thrawn somehow come into Mando, as well as being in Ahsoka. Another thing that The Mandalorian Season 3 can do is bolster up characters that had minor roles in Season 2. And the one person I'm thinking of in particular is Koska Reeves, who is of course Sasha Banks' character. It's very hard to ignore the fact that The Mandalorian had a spare professional fighter amongst its cast the entire time. Sasha Banks was introduced in Season 2 as the Mandalorian from the Night Elves called Koska Reeves, second in command to Katee Sackhoff's Bo-Katan. When it comes to being a strong female character, Koska Reeves could fill the Cara Dune shaped hole in The Mandalorian's 3rd season, especially considering the fact that we can expect Season 3 to be a lot darker in tone, as was revealed last week. I do believe we're going to see more of Koska Reeves in Season 3, given the fact that we know that the season is going to be very focused on Mandalorian creed and tradition. I think it's also the perfect opportunity to find out what happened to the Armorer, who is of course the character of my dear friend Emily Swallow. I spoke about her before, but this is a character who I think we do need to find out what happened to her, and I'm of course talking about the comms officer. I know a lot of people assume that she died, but I don't think she did. If you go to my channel, I made an entire video about exactly how she escaped Moff Gideon's light cruiser before our team of heroes came in. And as you guys may or may not know, there are tons of fan theories to do with whether or not she is Sabine Wren in disguise, or if she is a character we've seen before. Time will tell, but this is a character which I want to see explored. What Inverse say on the matter is the best choice to replace Cara Dune is none other than one of the few Empire crew members that we see on screen. While this officer hasn't done much but stand at the bridge and show visualizations of Moff Gideon, actress Katie O'Brien is a talented martial artist who hasn't been able to show off her skills just yet. But she could do so in Season 3, and her character might be a lot deeper than we previously assumed. So all of these characters are well and good, as well as new ones that could be introduced, but a big question is, how are they going to kill off Cara Dune? Lucasfilm seem very reluctant to recast Gina Carano's character, so they're going to have to explain it. Now I do realise Pedro Pascal said there's going to be a huge time jump between seasons 2 and 3, but they still need to explain what happened to one of the main cast. It appears as though Inverse have thought of 3 solutions. First of all, Cara Dune died. An off-screen death makes a lot of sense, as it would both get rid of the character and raise the stakes for Mando's future. Din Djarin has got to continue on his fight to make sure Cara didn't die for nothing. However, she escaped Season 2 relatively unscathed. A future appearance seems out of the question, so the only option would be an off-screen death, which could seem too stark of a plot twist. The next option is that Cara Dune had duties elsewhere in the galaxy. Cara Dune's arc in Season 2 seemed to be centered around her new role as the Marshal of Nevarro. She was obviously very good at this job, so the New Republic could reassign her somewhere more in need of her no-nonsense crime fighting, a planet so dangerous and corrupt that there would be no reason to visit it over the rest of the series. And finally, perhaps Cara Dune disappeared. Does there really need to be an explanation at all? Maybe Cara Dune is just so busy with her marshalling that she can't spare the time to help Mando on his long trail of side quests. Some might say this is the laziest solution, but others might say it's the simplest. Sure, fans will miss her character, but that just primes the opportunity for a new character to step in. So what do you guys think? I want to know your opinions. I know a lot of you are very upset right now, and I do understand, but we have to stay positive and stay united as a fandom. So what do you guys want to see in The Mandalorian Season 3? Where do you think the show will go? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and give that notification bell a good old tickle. Also, please be sure to check out my Patreon page, where for just $2 or $10 a month you can get exclusive access to content that's not found here on this platform. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a great one.